Nati, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Well, I'll make you a host. Okay, you can make me a
Okay,
co-host. We are
great.
live,
All right,
and
thank
I'm.
you. Hi. Hello,
Hey,
hello.
Carrie, how are you?
Welcome back, Carol Sue. Welcome, Betty. Lovely to see you there. Welcome, Dolores, Josephina, Carolee. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love it. I'm sitting here waiting on a blank screen and all of a sudden everyone pops in. So, all righty.
We love you. That's why.
Natalie, can you make me a co-host so I can start the recording, please?
Okay, oops, hang on a minute. Let me do something technical. Whoops, hang on. James, where have you gone? There you are. Make co-host. That's it. There we go. Okay. All right. You would think my technological nous would be so much better by now, but I think we have got there. Okay. So who have I missed? Welcome back, Henry. Welcome, Kelly, Doris, and Dolores. So while we're waiting for people to pop in, would anyone like to comment or share maybe where you are or maybe why you have chosen this class today? Is there anything?
Natalie, sorry, you haven't made me a co-host. Instead of that,
I must have made somebody else a co-host. Who did I make? Oops, I made Carol. Oh, I'm going all over the place. You know why? Because people are popping in. All right, there we go. James, you're on. Did that work?
thank you.
Okay. For those of you who are sitting there going, what is she doing? All right, we just had to change hosting rights. We are live streaming, so apologies for that. Right? I think I've probably made somebody else a co-host. Let me just scroll through there for a moment. You would have rights to do all sorts of amazing things. No, we're good. Okay, we're good to go. So I'm sorry. What was I saying? Would you care to share what any particular reason that you've chosen this class? Do you love your feet? Do you not love your feet? How are you feeling about your feet today?
My name is Doris Aldridge. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I attended your class last week. I'm a walker, so I walk 5 to 8 miles a day. And
Wow.
after your class, my feet have never felt that good.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's fantastic. That's the best news I've heard all day, Doris. Thank you for sharing. Lovely. Well, that's good because we're going to be doing very, very similar things today. So, all right. So while we're here, we will need a few tools for class. Oh, we've still got some other people coming in, so I'll just let them come in. Actually, I'll share that once I've shared my screen and done my basic introductions, because that way everybody will know what we need to get. So Cynthia, you've come in. Welcome, Alma and Dania, Loretta, who have I missed? Kelly. So if I've missed anybody, so welcome to everyone. I'm just going to share my screen here. And this is just to let you all know or check out whether you are in the correct class today. This class is Free Your Feet. They're all movement classes that I do, but they're basic movements that we're doing. Well, hopefully they give you a lot of why can't I not think of the word? Basically, good bang for your buck. When you're doing some simple exercises, you get a lot out of them. That's my aim with what we're doing here. So this is a little bit about me. This is me here. A little bit of an old picture, actually. Right. My name's Natalie. I am in Melbourne, Australia. It's now 7:30 in the morning, but the sun is shining, so it's going to be a beautiful day. I've been teaching movement since 2001, been moving all of my life, but my specialty, I started off with yoga, and that has just gradually built over time. Pilates came into the mix, and I've done loads and loads of different foot workshops, which is why we're doing a Free Your Feet class today. Really interested in the feet. They're the foundation of your body, and that sort of moves with all the other and studies that I've done over the years, and I'm here to help you learn how to move your body so you can stay independently throughout your entire life. And I don't take myself too seriously, so I like to have a little bit of fun while we're doing our moves. All right, so at Get Set Up, we learn from each other. So ideally you would have your camera turned on, but if that's not okay, if you don't want to be seen, that's also perfectly fine. You can have it off. but if you have the camera on, you can see what each other are doing. You might have missed something, or maybe you're not able to see what I'm doing so clearly, and you might be able to see that from somebody else. So that's how we share and learn. If you enjoyed the class, you're more than welcome to request the recording after class. And to do that, all you need to do is email help@getsetup.io. You can also join by live stream. This class is being live streamed, but if you have registered for the class, you're able to stop at any time. You're able to ask me questions and interact with everybody. I welcome that. So you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask questions, or alternatively, if you would prefer not to be speaking over me, you can type the question into the chat box. And I have asked James, our technical assistant, to let me know that there's a question there, or read them out for me. So you can get your questions in any way that feels right for you. Get Set Up are not paid to promote any specific product, so I will not be selling you anything while we're on the call. And finally, please check with your doctor if you have any medical conditions that would maybe be a little bit detrimental to be doing any exercises. I am a movement professional and not a medical professional, so I can give you all sorts of movement advice. But if your doctor or your physical therapist or someone similar has given you advice that is not the same as what I am giving you, listen to what they've told you first. They know you better than I do, but you know you better than they know you as well. So on that, I'm going to stop the slides here and welcome anybody else I haven't already welcomed. I'm going to pop myself on the bigger screen so you can see me a little bit. Oh, there's Doris. All right, there is me. Okay. And I'll just let you know what we're going to be using in class today. I am using, I need to come back a little bit, a ball. I have a little, it's kind of a soft rubber ball. If you don't have something like this, you can use a tennis ball. I've got one here. You can use any type of small ball, but you don't want it to be too hard. You want to be able to squash it a little bit. If you don't have a small ball at all, you could get a sock maybe and ball it up and approximate something that you can stand on. We'll be standing on something for a lot of our foot exercises today. So a small ball. I'm also going to be using a half dome. Now, I appreciate most people do not have one of these lying around their house, right? It's a foam roller, so it's cut in half. So all you need to do is get yourself a towel. You can roll that up. So you've got like a rolled up surface. You can also roll up a mat, and you can use that for the exercises I'll be doing on the half dome, or I have like a yoga block, something like that you can stand on, but anything that has a little bit of height to it and is not too high. We are going to be starting standing. Pretty much most of the exercises can also be done seated. If it's not possible for you to be standing, you can be sitting on a chair. They're pretty much the same, but standing would be great. If it's possible for you to stand, coming up to standing. Also, ideally, it's great if you take your socks off, if you're wearing socks. Shoes, definitely, if you can, right? Again, if that's not an option, you can do things with whatever it is that you need to have on your feet. But in an ideal world, we'd be having bare feet. So we're going to start standing, if that's okay. And all we're going to do, actually, just have a little walk on the spot. Just have a little walk on the spot if you're standing up. Don't think too much about it. Just a little sort of walk. And then stop and notice where your feet land. All right, so I've landed with my feet, hopefully, my feet underneath my sitting bones, right in my pelvis, so they're about hip width apart, and my feet are facing relatively forward. Right, you may see people when they're walking down the street, their feet are turned out or all sorts of different ways, right? Nothing wrong with that, but often it can be a little bit nicer to have our feet facing forward. So we're going to aim to do a lot of our exercises with our feet facing forward. That might not be possible for you. They might be turned out a little bit. But once you're up standing and your feet are where they need to be, we're going to get a little sense of how we're carrying ourselves, where the weight is. So begin by shifting your body weight forward, leaning forward like you're a leaning Tower of Pisa, right? And then come on backwards and then maybe take a bit of a lean backwards. What's happening in your feet, in your body when you do that? So shift forward, and I'll just let you know what I'm feeling. My toes start to really grip into the floor so I don't topple over. When I go backwards, I'm sort of still the same, but now I can feel it a little bit more in my shins, the front of my leg, trying to stop me from falling backwards. So shifting forward, leaning backwards. I'll do that one more time. Forward and backwards. And then I want to end up in a place where my weight is probably more back on my heels. The balls of my feet are on the mat, but I can lift and spread all 10 toes. It's a little bit far away for you to see that. So I'm lifting them up. I really need 2 cameras for this class, maybe. Lift them up, right? So my weight's back on my heels, the balls of my feet, so underneath my toes there, the front of my foot is pressing into the mat. My toes can lift, I can spread them all out, and then I'll let my toes come back down onto the mat again. Right, so we've got these really big bones, right, in our legs. Our leg bones are the biggest bones. They're going down, and the biggest bones in our feet are on our heels. Right? They're designed to carry a lot of our weight. And the little bones at the front of our foot, they're a lot smaller. They're more mobile. They don't want the bulk of your weight on them for a lot of the day. All right, so perfect. We've started there. We've managed to do that. Once we've done that, see if you can lift your toes again, spread them out even more, put them back down again on the mat. And then once you've done that, can you just lift your big toes up? Right, your big toes lift, and the other 8 toes, 4 toes on each foot, stay down on the floor. Is that possible? Pop them back down again. Can you keep the big toes down on the mat, and can you lift the other 8 toes off the mat? And I move my fingers around too, right? Not consciously, that just happens. Put them back down again, right? Lift your big toes again if you can. And again, that'll be hard for you to see that unless you've got a close up on your camera, right? Pop them back down again. Keep your big toes down. Lift the other 8 toes up. Is that possible? And lower back down again. All right, now have a little wiggle. Wiggle them all around. Just wiggle around through your feet. And then once you've done that, can you roll onto the outside edges of your feet? What does that feel like? Is that really awkward? Is it possible? Is it really unsteady? Is it painful? Right, come on back to flat feet, then roll onto the inside edges of your feet. So the outside, the little toe side of the foot lifts up off the mat. What does that feel like? And then come on back down again. And then let's see if we shift back a little bit, can we roll back so we're on our heels? Whoa, you might want to hold onto a wall. Lower them back down again. And then lift your heels up, your toes go down. And then lower back down again. All right, so we've played around with toes, heels, feet. Come back to the heel. So we're going to go back to that exercise. Lift your heels up and then lower them back down as slowly as you can. All right, raise your heels and lower them down. Now, this is not a balance challenge, right? If it's too much, hold on to a wall, right? If you're seated, right, it's the same thing. Right, you're not putting the body weight on your feet, but you're still getting the movement in your feet. Right, raise up and lower down. When you're doing this heel raise movement, do you get all wobbly in your ankles, or do they feel nice and strong and supportive and steady? Right, do you lift up and then drop straight down again? Right, sometimes I do that. Right, lift up and lower. You might not want to do too many of these at first. Over time, you'd be able to build up some strength in your feet and ankles and be able to do quite a lot of them. Let's do 3 more. And 2. Ooh, ooh. And lower. The last one. And come on back down again. And then we'll go to the backwards movement again. So on your heels, can you lift your toes up some more, maybe the balls of the feet, and lower, lift again, and lower, and lift, and lower. Let's do a few more of those. Whoops, I'm going to fall over. And 2, and 1. All right. Now, with our feet flat, I've got a mat here that if you don't have a mat, that's okay. Or maybe you'll have a line, maybe it's even an imaginary line. I'm going to try and walk the line. So I'm going to have one foot on one side of the mat. I'm going to walk my other foot in front. So here's another little bit of a balance challenge. And then in front. Right, one foot steps in front of the other. I'm walking the side edge of my mat and I'm feeling for it with my feet. Now I was actually looking down, trying not to get you to do that. I'm going to walk backwards. But as I do that, I'm going to try and look forward a little bit more rather than looking down at my feet. And I want my feet to feel the edge of the mat. Right, if you don't have a mat there to feel the edge of, it's okay. Imagine walking in a straight line. I'm just walking forward. This is a bit more of a balance challenge. One foot in front of the other. And then walking backwards. I'm going to try that one more time. The intention here as I'm doing this is to see what I'm feeling, right, from my feet. What sensations are coming up? Do I feel steady when I'm walking? Do I feel really wobbly? Am I getting the type of feedback from my feet that will help me feel steady as I'm walking through life, right? Moving through my daily activities. Okay, right, so not the way we walk generally. The feet are more apart when we're walking, but I was just playing with that movement there. We're now going to try and walk on our toes. So come forward, walking on your toes. You could go backwards or you could turn around and continue to walk back to where you started. Have a little, we could walk around in circles in your room, whatever works for you. Lower your heels back down again. And then we'll now do that on our heels. So we're going to see if we can lift our toes and now go for a walk. We were just lifting them before, but now we're moving. How does that feel? Is that more awkward? Again, it can be a circle around the room or backwards and forwards on your mat. Any way that feels okay for you. Well, that's so awkward for me. Notice I'm just sort of holding my arms out to help myself with a little bit of balance. And come on back again. Now let's try that on the outside edges of our feet. All right. Walk on the outside edges. If it's too painful, right, maybe you just want to try just rolling onto the edge, maybe a little bit of weight on the sides of your foot rather than all the way on the edge of your feet. Notice I'm not doing as many on this way. Oh, I'm going to put them down. My feet are getting tired. Right now, the inside edges of your feet, so the little toe side of my feet are lifting up. And I'm going to have a little walk around like that. And I've also noticed that I've turned my arms inwardly as well. Right? So the whole body is connected, right? What happens to your feet, right? Transfers up to the rest of your body. Okay, well, that is a lot of work. I want to move around a little bit, have a little wiggle. Okay, right, so we want to now give our feet a little bit of massage after all of that work. Before we do that, we're going to do a little check-in with our bodies. Can you just come on into a forward bend? Just take yourself in a forward bend. It doesn't matter where you get to, where your arms are, they're way up here or way down here somewhere. But once you're in that forward bend, see what the sensations are like in your body. What does it feel like in your legs, in your back, and your head? Do you feel tight? Do you feel, what do you feel? Right? Is it really easy for you to come forward? Do you feel creaky? Right? What's going on now? And then file that away. Come on up to standing. File that away in your memory banks, and then find your ball. Like I said, if you don't have a ball up a sock or find something else that you can stand on. We want something a little bit uneven to start to give ourselves some more sensation underneath our feet. Choose the foot that you want to start with, and then just step onto the ball. Shift as much weight as feels okay. If you could even lift your other foot off the floor, and then step off, move the ball somewhere else underneath your foot, and step on it again. So this is the action. I can't talk today. We will repeat that action a number of times. Right, step on, off, move the ball until you feel like you've sort of touched on most of the base of one foot. Right, my ball's getting a little bit too squishy. It's turning into a bit of a pancake when I step on it. So again, this is not a balance exercise. You are welcome to hold onto a wall to help you balance so we're not falling over, right? We don't want that to happen. All right. It's getting very soft, this ball. It's made of rubber, and over time it gets softer and flatter the more I use it underneath my feet. And I've been using it a lot. Right, so don't neglect your heels. Come right up underneath your heel. Step on it under your heels as well. I'm stepping on, putting a bit of weight on and off. You can put your whole body weight on by lifting your other foot up off the mat. You could just lean into it a little bit if it feels painful. You might find that there's one particular area in your foot that feels quite painful. So skirt around it rather than step right onto the painful part. Right, and I could pretty much do this for an hour. I'm not going to do it too long. What I would like to suggest to people is try and do something like this, even if it's only for a couple of minutes every day. We want to really wake up our feet and get them more mobile and more used to moving around on different surfaces rather than these flat, hard surfaces that we spend our lives on. All right, so once we've done that, we're going to move the ball to underneath the ball of the foot. Have your heel on the floor this time. Step onto the ball, put as much weight on as feels okay. And now start to sort of move your foot. You're rolling from side to side. Maybe come from the front, one side to the other side. And my foot's turning big toe side down, little toe side down. And my heel is staying on the floor to give myself a little bit of control. I'm trying to find different angles to show you. One side to the other. And as I'm doing that, so this is with my hand, my foot's doing that kind of action. As I'm doing it, I'm letting the ball move towards my heel. I've got to keep moving my whole body to keep it from going out all over the place. And then I'll work the ball back towards my toes. Right, so it's this sideways action. And with all of these movements, you can't get them wrong, right? You're not going to do them wrong. The idea is to wake up your feet. All right, so from side to side. So the best you can. And when we first start doing this, it's really hard to find a sense of control with the ball underneath your foot. All right. Okay, now from there, move it to underneath the big toe again. Lift your heel up off the floor and then roll all the way towards your heel. So now you're rolling the length of your foot. Before it was side to side, now the length. Bring it back, put it under the second toe, roll again to your heel. Come back. So for each toe, you want to do like a roll the length of your foot. Do a few more of these. Then do some random passes, some extra passes. Right, from one end to the other end of your foot. Okay. Nice. Okay, now finally, roll randomly. So I just call these like little scribbly movements all over the place. Again, you can't do this wrong. It might be really slow. It might be fast. All right, that'll do. Now, take your foot off the ball. Have both feet down flat. and see if you feel a difference. Right, so we've done, what was that, maybe 5 minutes or so on the one foot, and there's a huge difference for me. My foot feels sort of more connected down to my mat. It feels a little bit wider, maybe, right? It feels flatter. And usually there's a change in color. There doesn't seem to be too much of a change in color today. So once we've done the one, we want to do the other foot. So let's do the same thing on the other foot. So again, find the ball, step onto it, as much weight or as little weight as is appropriate, step off, move it, step onto it again, and off. Right, so all the different places underneath your foot. And let's compare how this foot feels to the other foot. Right, it's often for me, my left foot feels okay, but my right foot, there's a point right in the middle of it that's quite painful. Right, we're sort of looking at all, if you believe in reflexology, right, all the areas of your foot are linked to your organs or places in the body. My understanding is that if there's something wrong somewhere or other, or something that might need a little bit of a movement fix or something, that it might show up as some sort of sensation in your foot. All right, so what we're doing here, again, trying to wake up the feet. Your feet have about as many bones in them as your hands. When you think about how you can move your hands around, they're really dexterous, right? They're super mobile. You can do all sorts of things. You can pick up things with your hands. Your feet were designed to do the same thing. They are designed to move around the same sort of way. They're designed to be able to go over uneven surfaces and keep us steady. And they deform as they go over those uneven surfaces. And what do? We pop them in shoes and we walk on hard, flat surfaces. So we are waking them up from a lifetime of that. All right, remember your heel. You want to step on the heel as well. Okay, now let's shift to the second move here. The ball comes underneath the ball of your foot. Your heel is on the floor. Put as much weight down onto the ball as feels okay for you, and then roll side to side. Right, from big toe side to little toe side of the foot. My foot is doing what I call in the anatomy world is called inversion and eversion. Right, it turns inwardly and outwardly. It's actually the other way around, but anyway, okay. So as I'm doing this, I'm sliding my foot forward a little bit, working the ball towards my heel. It's not a huge range there. And then when it can't go any further because my heel is still on the floor, I am working it back towards my toes. You might find if you have a tennis ball and a wooden floor that it goes scooting across the floor. That has happened to me. Right? They're the little things that you'll find over time if you're playing around with balls moving underneath your feet. All right, let's move it to the big toe, lifting your heel up off the floor now. Hang on, let me just turn the other way. I'm going to roll it the length of your foot from the big toe to the heel. Come on back, second toe, roll the length. Third toe. Not doing so well toe-wise here. That's okay. Right, we've got all that happening. Some extra random passes, just going the length of your foot, toes to heel. And then finally, just scribbly moves all over the place. Can't get any of this wrong. Whatever you're doing here will have some benefit to your entire body, right? Your feet are your foundations. what's going on there is going to have some effect all the way up. Okay, once you feel you've done enough on that foot too, both feet come back down to the mat. Take a moment. What do they feel like? And then let's repeat this forward bend that we did before. See if by waking up our feet with a ball, this movement now feels differently or not. And it might not, and that's okay, right? But for me, it's easier. I can get down further or closer towards the floor. And maybe I want to straighten my legs, keeping them a bit bent. What do you feel like in your legs? I tend to have a bit of that sense of stiffness come out of them when I've done this. Just be aware. We'll all get some different sensations. Note what it feels like for you. And then let's come on up from there. And now let's do a stretch. So this is where I'm going to use my dome. I just realized my mat's gone all over the place while I've been doing the ball stuff. So this is what I'm using now. So of course, if you don't have that, you can find your rolled up towel or roll up a mat or anything that you can have your foot raised a little bit on. And from here, back to standing with our feet flat and our weight a little bit back on our heels. I'm nice and upright. I'm going to step one foot. The ball of my foot is on my dome. My heel is on the floor. Now, this is my stretching leg. This is going to be straight. So if you have a towel, you've rolled up your mat a little bit, right? Same thing. The ball of the foot is up high. The heel is down. And that leg is straight. Now, once you found that position, if you're not feeling a stretch, right, in this position, your other foot can step further forward. So you do feel something. And this is a calf stretch. So even though we're doing the foot, it's stretching the calf, right? But you might be feeling it somewhere different. Again, with any stretches that we do, we're also individual, right? The things that we do throughout our lives is that we all get different sensations, right? Your other foot might be back here somewhere. It can be here. It could be forward. But wherever you are, see if you can avoid like leaning forward. You can stay upright and your leg is straight. I like to hold this for around about a minute or so. Right, we do this to try and counterbalance the effect of being in heels where our toes are down and our heel is lifted. We're now taking our foot the other way. So our heel's down and the front of our foot is lifted up a little bit more. I actually can't walk in high heels, so I've never really worn them at all in my life, but I know a lot of people have spent a lot of time in high heels, and even a small heel makes a difference. All right, let's switch over and we'll do the same thing with the other foot. So again, I'm upright, my legs are straight. I'll set the ball of my foot up onto my dome, my heel is on the floor, and now that stretching leg is straight and I'm trying to remain upright with my torso. This sort of wants to happen in my body. I'm going to try and let my ribs stay nice and soft. And again, if you're not feeling anything, your other foot can step further forward so you get some sensation in your calf, maybe. It may be the backs of the knee, it could be somewhere else. It'll take a little while here to hold the stretch. And then we'll step off there. Now another foot stretch. Now this one could be a little bit unstable with the top of the foot stretch. So you might want to hold on to a wall or a broomstick or something. You're stepping onto one foot. The other foot's going to go back behind you if you can and curl your toes under and let the top of the foot now be on your mat. Now this can absolutely be done in a chair that you take less pressure onto your foot, right? Like this. All right. It may be if your toes are tight and haven't done anything like this at all, you might want to just sort of lightly curl your toes under more in front of you. If it's okay, your foot goes further back. the top of your foot curls under, and then you shift your weight back onto the top of your foot. Like I said, this can be super painful at first. So maybe you're just going to try and curl the toes under here a little bit. If you're a ballerina, you can shift all of your weight back onto your foot. Have a little play with it, see what it feels like. Like I said, this can be painful at first, so we won't hold it too long, but we call this the top of the foot. Now, this is designed to counterbalance a little, what we call a toe spring in the front of the shoe, right? If you ever have a look at your shoes, probably not dress shoes, but things like running shoes and that, they've got a little curl up in the toes. Right, we're taking our toes now the other way. All right, that might be long enough on the one foot. Let's switch over, other foot, curl your toes under or over, whatever you want to call that, and put some weight back onto the top of your foot. See where you feel that. This one for me sometimes goes all the way up the front of my shin. I can feel a sense of stretch going all the way. Not every time I do it, but just sometimes my body kind of goes, oh, I like this stretch, and I'm going to allow you to stretch a little bit more. Okay, release. Now, we're going to do something that we call tracing the alphabet with our feet. Now, you can do it standing. You can hold on to something. It's going to be on one leg. It might be easier to be seated, either on your seat or all the way down on your mat. But like I said, it's going to be done with one foot. And you can have your foot however you like. You can hold on to your leg. You can cross your foot over your other leg. I'm going to do this so it's easy for you to see, I think. I'm going to try and pop myself into a position. You don't have too much in the background. So like I said, sitting on the floor is fine if you're comfortable, if you're able to access your foot somewhere. Standing up, you might want to hold on to something. We want to use our foot like a kind of like a pencil, right? You're going to try and make each letter of the alphabet, right, with your foot from your ankle. So it's going to be like making an A, and then a B, and then a C, and D, right, E, go through the alphabet, right? I'll just say it so it's not too quiet. F, G, H, I, let's put the little dot there, J, K, right, we've got to work out how to do it, L, M, N, O, right, there's a big circle, P, another circle, and Q going around the other way, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. I think you say Z, right? Okay, so that's the letters of the alphabet with the one foot. While you're there on that foot, point your foot, point, and try and scrunch your toes up together, and then flex your foot and try to spread your toes apart. Oh, my little toe's really stuck here. And then again, point. I think I need a darker background so you can see. And then flex and spread your toes apart. Point and flex. Can we do 2 more of those? Point and scrunch it up. Maybe we get a bit of cramping. Flex and spread them apart. 1 more time. Point and flex and release. Okay. Maybe wiggle it around. Let's switch over legs or switch over feet. So you want your other foot now. I'm going to do the alphabet with this foot. Now I've got to think about this. It's going around the wrong way for me. Right, so A, B, C, D, E. Right, if I had a paintbrush in my foot, I'd be painting the letters maybe on the floor. F, G, probably wouldn't. H, it would be very messy. I, J, K, L, M, N, O, and P. I like those circles. Q, R, S, T, U, V, I'm going backwards, W, that was hard, X, Y, and Z. Z. All right. And then point your toes, scrunch them up, ow, and flex and spread them apart. All right. Point and scrunch, flex and spread them apart. 3 more of those. Point and scrunch, flex, spread apart. And 2, flex. And last one, and flex. Oh, okay. There we go. Pop back down again. Wiggle your toes, check them out. How do they feel? How do they look? Okay, we've done that. I'm going to come on back up to standing. We are going to get the ball again. So hopefully it hasn't rolled off somewhere. And now we're going to get the ball underneath our big toe. Right, so I'm going to try and get the rest of my foot on the floor, and I'm going to try and get my big toe over the ball, and it's underneath. It's actually, yeah, it's a bit hard to see. It's quite a small picture for you, but it's sort of underneath my big toe, second toe, third toe as well. And then I'm going to try and scrunch it. I'm going to try and scrunch my toes around the ball, and then I'm going to release, try to lift my big toe back off the ball again. I'm going to try and scrunch and then release. Now I'm going to try and scrunch it. Now I'm going to try and pick the ball up with my foot. Yo. Now I can do that because this ball is really squishy, right? And put it back down. That might be impossible for you if you're using a tennis ball or something, but you're just going to try to do the move. So you're going to scrunch it. You're going to try and pick it up and back down again. And once again, scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. See if you can pick it up. See if you can hold a little bit. So I'm pulling my foot together and then release. And then I'll just have a quick little random roll out on the ball again. Nice. Wiggle my toes. And then I'll do that with my other foot. All right, so it's going to be underneath the big toe. Yeah, I need a cameraman. Someone that can zoom in would make it easy for you to see. All right, so here we go. Underneath the big toe, the next toe, we're going to scrunch our toes, our foot around the ball, and then release. And again, scrunch, 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 release, and then scrunch. Let's see if I can do it with this foot. Not so well. All right, pick it up, maybe. Oh, that's quite painful. That's a little bit of cramping in my foot. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to try that again. Scrunch and pick it up. Whoa. And let it go. And one more time. Scrunch it and pick it up and just hold a little bit longer. And release, and then give that an extra little bit of a roll out. Okay. Yeah. Let's see that little wiggle around through our toes again. And then we're going to revisit the calf stretch on the dome. So, or your towel or whatever it is that you have handy. I'm going to come on back. Same thing. I'm standing up tall. My legs are straight. And my left foot, doesn't matter which foot you use. The heel's on the floor. The ball of the foot is up higher. So that leg starts straight. I want to find a bit of a stretch. Right, so I'm stepping my other foot further forward so I can feel a bit of stretch in my calf. Now from here, what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to start with my legs straight, but now I'm going to put a little bit of a bend in my knees. And for me, I feel that sort of stretch going a little bit higher up my calf. It feels a bit different. So just a little bend. The top of my foot is still raised. My heel is still on the floor. And it's just a little bit of a different sensation. Actually, it's quite a big sensation difference for me today. Sometimes it's not so much. Today it's quite a lot. Maybe because it's early. If we do things in the morning, it feels different than when we're doing it in the evening. And I think that most of you who are on the call right now would be more in the evening. I wonder what that would feel like for you if you did that in the morning as well. Maybe depending on whether you're morning people or evening people. All right, let's switch legs. Other side. So same again, we'll start with the straight leg. Your ball of your foot is on the dome, the heel is on the floor. Let's find that stretch there. So step your other foot, right? It might be way back here, maybe way forward, right? Anywhere that's right for you. And then from there, put a little bit of a bend in your knees. Yeah, there we go. What does that feel like in this leg, this foot, ankle, your calf? Where are you feeling that? And we can do this type of exercise so many different ways. It's ridiculous how many ways you can do such a simple thing, a way that we have our foot turned, whether it's forward, whether it's turned out to the side. We don't have time to go into all of those today. Maybe next week we'll explore some other variations. All right, let's come on off there. Now I'm going to come back to the top of the foot stretch again, and I'm going to turn to face you. And remember, we had our toes curled. I'll just turn sideways so you can see what we did. We had the toes curled under. I'm going to take my foot back a little bit. Now, first off, when we do this, we want to, if we're looking straight on at ourselves, now if I had a mirror in front, I actually have a screen in front of myself now, and I can see now that my heel of that foot is hidden from me. I can't see my heel at all when I'm looking at myself front on. So now what I want to do is do a little play to roll my foot so I can see my heel. So I'm rolling onto the big toe side of my foot. My leg is turning outwardly. And then I'm going to roll and I'm going to turn my heel out to the side. My leg is turning inwardly. Maybe you can see like that. So I'm just rolling out, a bit harder to see from that angle. So my heel's turning in towards my body. My heel is rolling away from my body. So I'm rolling on the top of my foot. So bring my hand closer to the camera. If my foot, this was my foot, I'm going like this and like that. On the top of my foot. So the stretch, the top of the foot stretch now is going through the different tissues and the different fibers of my foot, and I'm feeling it differently. I'm trying to wake up a lot of the top of my foot. Now again, I don't want to do too much of this because this is quite a strong stretch. All right, so I'll switch, do the same thing on the other foot. All right, so my toes curl under, the top of my foot now is down on my mat. And I'm going to slowly turn my heel. Oh, that is quite painful, that one. In towards my body and then out to the side away. Oh, and there's a little bit of crunching in my toes. I don't know if you could hear that. Just kind of crunch, crunch. Not in a bad way, right? Big toe side and the little toe side. Oh. And you could do that super, super slowly. Again, it wants to feel okay for you, right? We're waking up the feet. We're making them more mobile. And I remember I said this last week. I haven't said it I said it last week yet, not this week yet. As we age, right, we have all these plantar receptors, right, these sensory nerves at the bottom of our feet. As we get older, they start to die off, for want of a better word. They start to disappear. So we get less sensation, or we get less feedback. When we're walking around, the ground gives us feedback, right? And our body reacts to the feedback that we're getting from what's going on underneath our feet. So as we age, we lose some of that feedback. And the purpose of all of these exercises is to get that feedback back, is to wake our feet up and to give us more sense of what's going on, right? As we're walking around, this helps us with our balance. It helps us with everything, right? So that's why it's really, really important to try and do some of these things every day, just whatever you can think about. All right, one final stretch here is a double calf stretch. So it's back to your dome or your towel or your mat or whatever you have. And now you step both feet onto it. And you try and, right, it's really hard to balance here. Your hips go back. So you hinge at your hips, on your hips push backwards, right? It might be that you want to hold on to something. If you have a chair handy, right, hold on to a chair. And you want to try and straighten out your legs and push your hips backwards. You can hold on to your legs. You can let your head hang for a moment. Take a moment there. Think about maybe lifting up through your thigh bones and pushing down through your heel bones or your shin bones. And then use the backs of your legs to lift yourself back up again. Step off there. And now we've done all of that work. Remember the heel raises that we started with? Can we try a few more of those and see? Maybe we've tired our feet out too much, right? In which case, give them a miss, right? But see if you can lift your heels and up and lower them down, right? Did we wake up the feet? Is it now a bit easier to balance? She says, as she nearly falls over. All right. Can you maybe do this a little bit with a bit more control? Maybe a little bit slower and steadier. And lift. Oh, lower. That was quick. I'll do 3 more of these. Lift and lower. 2 to go. And last one. And lower. All right. And then come back with your feet down flat on the mat. Do a little check-in. How are you feeling? Right? Do you feel that your weight is evenly spread across your feet? Or maybe one foot's taking more of your body weight than the other? I meant to check in with that at the start of the class. Right? What does it feel like now? And then that might be more than enough stuff for the day. I am going to come back here now and open up for any questions that you may have. Is there anything you'd like to ask me about what we've done, or would you like to make any comments about anything or have any suggestions? Yes, CC, is it? Yep, you have your hand up.
Yes, I have severe neuropathy from chemotherapy, and it's really severe, so I can't stand up for very long. So I'm wondering, how can I sit down, and because I've been sitting down and doing things because I just can't do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can pretty much do most of that sitting down, right? The ball stuff underneath your feet, you can do that. The calf stretch is probably not very effective sitting down.
Right.
But a lot of them, all the top of the foot stretch. So yeah, so you just on your seat, you've got your top of the foot stretch. You can curl your toes under. You can roll around underneath the ball. You can lift and lower your heels. You can go side to side. All of that you can absolutely be doing seated. So it's a great place, and the neuropathy will make that really painful for you to do too. So it's
my neuropathy is so severe that I don't feel anything anymore. So
wow.
I'll up to my knees. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But at night I have to take gabapentin because it's so painful. And sheets touch me. It's very painful. So I don't know if gabapentin's good, but
yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, but you can give it a go. Just don't go something really hard. You know, go even if you can't feel it. Use something softer so you can get the movement without. Yeah.
Because I have a leg thing. It's like a wooden one that's supposed to be pretty good, and I massage my feet on that, and if I push hard, I can feel a little bit of something, but not much.
Okay, but gentle is always best. Okay, gentle is better than too hard. Yeah. So let's see how you go. Good luck with it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else have anything they'd like to ask?
Yeah. Are you supposed to feel that on your calf muscles?
Okay, it's called a calf stretch, but depending on what we do with our bodies for most of the day, right, is where we're going to feel it. So it might be called the calf stretch, but you might not feel it in your calf. You might feel it somewhere completely different, or you might not feel it at all. It'll still be having some sort of effect in you. Yeah. Well, when we do stretches, we really don't want to get bogged down on this is where I should be feeling it, because we're all different. So did you feel anything when you were doing that?
Yeah, I feel it in my the back of my legs.
Yeah,
the lower legs.
Yeah, perfect. There we go. That's all we need. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, never be worried that you're not feeling it in the right place, because you're always doing something for yourself that will always have some benefits. Yeah. Okay.
I just have a question about the balls.
Yes.
Wasn't sure if you said which works best, a hard ball like a tennis ball or softer.
I
Does
would
it-
go softer, Betty. Tennis balls are pretty good. Tennis balls, I mean, it's harder, but I'm thinking not a lacrosse ball or a golf ball, right? They tend to be too hard. A lot of people say, oh, use a lacrosse ball or something like that. I think they're way too hard. Use something softer. So a tennis ball is a good start, or you can go softer than that. Do you know what a pinky ball is? It's like a hollow rubber ball.
Yeah.
They're really good. A pinky ball.
Mhm.
Yeah, think the color pink. Pink.
Like this.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. They bounce. Yeah, they're really, really good to use as well. They don't sort of slide all over your wooden floor if you have a wooden floor. Okay. Cynthia, did you have a question too? Oops, sorry, Cynthia, you're muted still. You'll have to unmute yourself. Yep. I know you're looking in the right direction, bottom left. Yep, there we go.
Okay, there.
Can
This
we
has
get
been wonderful for
can we
me.
get something
But
that
what I've found out that maybe isn't so wonderful is my balance is terrible. Trying to
Oh.
do some, and I assume I hold on to something, a walker or something, that maybe this will help that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Okay.
have no doubt about it. I can't guarantee it for sure, but my personal opinion, yes, absolutely, that will help you out. Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, you'll find like your feet are your foundations, right? So if you stimulate them, you'll be having some effect all the way up your body, and that includes your balance, right? You're letting yourself get some more feedback from the ground up as you're moving through life. So try something every day. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And every week, you have this every week?
I'm on, okay, I'm off speaker. I mean, I'm on speaker. What, can you put down some of the things we could get or to websites? Like I noticed those comments made by your TA, your teacher assistant.
Yeah, I
And
haven't
I'm just wondering, do you put it at the end where we can get some of that?
get some of which.
Where it's typed in or something. Like I know some classes I've had, they've had it where the teacher would come back and just kind of give us information things.
Oh, those are called class notes. Those are called
Class
class
notes.
notes.
Yeah, I'll be sending a quick email as soon as I get off this call. I'll send you.
Yeah.
I'll send you some notes. Yeah, absolutely. All right, and that's where I need to share my screen again, so I can just sort of run through those very quickly. Yep. So I want to thank you all for joining class today. If you enjoyed it, please share your experience. If you're on social media, use the hashtag #GetSetUp or the @GetSetUp, or send an email to the lovely Liz at getsetup.io. She likes to blog about your experiences. And the more you put it out there, the more other people can find us and the more we will be able to do. So my next classes are just listed there. I'll be doing one tomorrow, a couple of hours later, actually. I believe it's a supple spine class tomorrow. I'll be moving the spine in all the different ways. Oh no, it's not. It's core and stretch tomorrow. Apologies. It's the spine class is the following day. Yeah, it's called core and stretch tomorrow. All right, so we'll be sending you out some class notes. I don't actually have a load of those, but now you've made me think about it. I'll try and add some more to those. You'll also be asked for some feedback on the session. So if you enjoyed the class, give me 5 stars. If not, you can take some stars away. That's fine. But please, if you do that, please add some extra feedback on there. It's always more fun to share with a friend. So feel free to invite a friend. When you book in, you're prompted to click on the little link there. You can see it highlighted in red to invite a friend. You'll get a link to send to them, and they're also able to join in the class. There's also the mobile version there as well. And then finally, if you have any ideas for a class that you don't see on our list and you think that would be a good thing to do, please let us know. You could also host an interest group if you feel like being on this side of the camera. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, you can request a recording of this session. So all you need to do there is email help@getsetup.io. So So I've raced through that pretty quickly time-wise. Do we have any final comments before I say goodbye to you? I'm pretty much right on the button. So I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Good to see you all again and see you next time. Take care.